Hi everyone, my name is Abhiraj Garakapati. Welcome to my YouTube channel Amazing Abhi. Episode 12, Tempest Evolves. Feels like the story finally exhales after the Amrita ruins, Mariable's defeat, and the Chaos Dragon crisis. This episode is not built like a big fight. It is built like a reset point. Rimuru looks back at what just happened, measures the danger that is still hiding in the background, and then immediately starts thinking like a ruler again. That is the main idea of the episode. Tempest is not just surviving anymore. Tempest is becoming a real international power. The review angle is simple. This is a quieter episode, but it is very important because it turns the previous battle arc into political progress, technology development, and long-term nation building. The episode opens with a dark emotional contrast. Granville visits the body of his deceased wife, who was Mariable's original incarnation, and he is devastated by the loss of his granddaughter. For him, Mariable was not just a villainous pawn, she was tied to his dream of protecting humanity and removing the demon lords from the world. Her death breaks more than his family line. It damages his entire plan. This scene matters because it keeps Granville from becoming a simple background schemer. He is dangerous because he is grieving, cornered, and convinced that his cause is righteous. Episode 12 quietly tells us that even though Mariable is gone, the threat behind her has not disappeared. Back in Tempest, Rimuru reviews the two major recent events, the Council of the West incident and the Amrita ruins investigation. On paper, he won both situations. The Council accepted Tempest, Mariable's trap failed, Milim's old dragon friend was saved, and Rimuru gained more influence. But Rimuru is not fully relaxed because Yuuki and Granville have both gone quiet. That silence is suspicious. This is where the episode works well as setup. It reminds viewers that Rimuru's biggest danger is not always a monster roaring in front of him. Sometimes the real danger is someone waiting, calculating, and preparing the next move while Tempest celebrates. Rimuru then starts planning Tempest's next evolution. Since Tempest is now connected to the Council, he wants to create stronger laws, clearer systems, and better proof that monsters and humans can live safely together. This is one of the most slime-like parts of the series. The victory is not only about defeating enemies. The victory is about building roads, laws, diplomacy, trade, public trust, and daily life. Rimuru understands that if humans are going to accept Tempest, he cannot rely only on power. He has to make Tempest look organized, fair, and safe. That is why this episode feels like a government-building chapter disguised as a fantasy slice-of-life episode. Before we move ahead, please take a second to like on this video. A like tells me that you enjoyed this topic. Your support helps Amazing Abhi grow naturally. One of the coolest small moments is Rimuru meeting Kurobe and seeing the new kind of magic sword. This scene is short, but it says a lot about Tempest's growth. Tempest is no longer just copying what other nations have. It is inventing things. Magic, craftsmanship, monster talent, and modern ideas are all blending together. Rimuru also shows Kurobe his own sword, which is treated as something with almost godlike potential. This moment adds a little fantasy excitement to an otherwise calm episode. It reminds viewers that behind the politics and construction, Tempest is still producing weapons and technology that could change the balance of power. The train station construction scene brings the focus back to ordinary workers. Rimuru checks on Geld and realizes that some of the Majin helping with construction are not exactly motivated. This may sound small, but it is actually a very practical ruler moment. A nation does not grow only because the leader has a vision. It grows because someone builds the roads, stations, buildings, and systems. Geld represents that hardworking backbone of Tempest. Rimuru encouraging him shows that he understands leadership is not only giving orders from above. Sometimes leadership is noticing the people carrying the weight and reminding them that their work matters. The visit to Yaum Emjurin and Edgar adds a softer emotional layer. Rimuru learns that Emjurin is pregnant, and this moment quietly shows how much the world has changed. These characters were once connected to conflict, manipulation, and political pressure. Now they are building a family. That is a big emotional payoff. It tells the audience that the peace Rimuru creates is not abstract. It affects real people. It gives them room to live, love, and plan for the future. In a season full of politics and schemes, this pregnancy news becomes a warm reminder that Tempest's progress is about protecting ordinary happiness, not just gaining power. Then the episode gives us one of its biggest visual and world-building rewards, the completed Magitrain. Ramiris and Veldora show Rimuru the train, which runs through magical engineering and elemental power. Veldora even summoned a salamander to help make it work, while Trainee and others also contributed to the project. This is classic Tensura creativity. The train is not only a vehicle, it is a symbol of Tempest's future. It means trade, travel, tourism, alliance, and cultural connection. It also shows how ridiculous and amazing Tempest has become, because where other nations struggle with normal diplomacy, Rimuru's group is casually creating magical infrastructure. Before we move ahead, please take a second to share on this video. Sharing helps this video reach friends who may also enjoy anime, gaming, travel, cricket, chess, career basics, or personal stories. Your support helps Amazing Abhi grow naturally. The festival at night gives episode 12 its happiest tone. After battles, betrayals, and political traps, the people of Tempest celebrate the train's creation. This is where the episode becomes genuinely charming. Everyone's work turns into a shared public moment. The train is no longer just Rimuru's idea or Ramiris's project. It becomes something the whole nation can be proud of. The celebration also helps the pacing. After multiple episodes of conflict, the story gives viewers time to enjoy the world again. The review point here is that the episode may not be action-heavy, but it succeeds at making Tempest feel alive. The city feels like a place people actually live in, not just a base for battle. The emotional ending belongs to Milim and Gaia. Milim arrives and reveals that Gaia is about to hatch, leading to her reunion with the pet dragon she lost long ago. This is the heart of the episode. The Chaos Dragon was not just a boss monster. It was connected to Milim's oldest wound. By saving its soul and giving it a new chance as Gaia, Rimuru gives Milim something she probably thought was impossible: a real reunion. This scene works because it turns the previous battle into healing. Instead of ending with death, the arc ends with rebirth. That is a very strong emotional note for Milim and a satisfying payoff for episode 11. As a review, episode 12 is a strong transition episode. It may not be the most exciting episode for viewers who only want fights, but it does three important things. First, it closes the emotional loop with Gaia and Milim. Second, it upgrades Tempest's status through laws, construction, technology, and the Magitrain. Third, it keeps the next threat alive by reminding us that Yuuki and Granville are still moving in the shadows. The only weakness is that Mariable's defeat can feel like it loses impact very quickly because the story moves forward almost immediately. But overall, episode 12 does what it needs to do. It turns victory into progress and prepares the next stage of the season. The final takeaway is that episode 12 is about evolution in every sense. Tempest evolves as a country. Rimuru evolves as a ruler. Technology evolves through the train and magic engineering. Milim's grief evolves into hope through Gaia's rebirth. And the wider story evolves from Mariable's arc into the next set of hidden political threats. That makes this episode more important than it may first appear. It is not a pause. It is a bridge. It tells us that Tempest is becoming too big to ignore, and because of that, the world's strongest players will start watching Rimuru even more closely. Episode 12 ends with celebration, but underneath that celebration, the next storm is already. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to Amazing Abhi. Subscribing makes sure you do not miss the next video, and it gives me motivation to keep improving the quality of every upload. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.